what to do. I was just
Okay.
planning what we got to do, but we're gonna start Patreon from Monday and start cracking on because there's quite a
Yeah,
few
yeah,
people
yeah.
asking me
Definitely.
stuff, and a lot of people want mentorship. I saw some guy yesterday. He really does want some mentorship. All right, let's go on.
Okay.
All right. Okay, guys. So
You had some connection problems yesterday.
yeah, I think so. I don't know what was going on.
Make sure your upload speed is fine.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that we put that on there. All right. Let's start. Let me do something here. All right. Give it about a minute or so. Watch the price, and then we'll go.
You're right, guys.
Yeah, I'm good. Good, Matty. What's up?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Man. Literally just at work right now.
Okay.
Good
Okay.
afternoon.
All right. Let's go. Let's go.
USD CAD looking like a beautiful trade, though.
Yeah.
That and USD CHF both
Oh
going
my
short.
days. Absolutely beautiful, man.
The entry, literally Thursday, like I said in the group, if anyone was paying attention to the group chat last week,
Yeah.
said Thursday probably be the best day to get an entry. If you look at the entry yesterday, it was perfect.
Crazy, man. The entry was ridiculous. So I'm saying, man, my snipers. That's what I'm talking about. Let's post this out. All right. So the price is dropping strongly. So we'll see how it goes, but we'll crack on. See what's going on and put this out here. All right, let's do this. So, welcome guys on YouTube. Welcome all my students. I know that some of you are still jumping in. We have about 7 more minutes until the price action does what it needs to do. All right, so I'm gonna go straight to USD CAD because again we're in the Canadian dollar news now. I'm actually even before that. Let's do something different. Let me actually have a look at the news. I'm gonna switch over screens in a moment, and let's have a look at what the news is actually saying. So the Canadian dollar has been really strong. Now, USD CAD by itself, if you were to do pair correlation with other pairs, you may come out with inconclusive answers. And the reason is very simple because the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar, and the US dollar itself has very different fundamentals from something like, let's say, CAD Japanese yen would be doing, or what the Japanese yen is doing in particular. Now, if I go over and switch screen here, so let's have a look right here. If I go over to what we have on FX Street. On FX Street right here, we have the unemployment rate. Now, the unemployment rate, the consensus or whisper number is 0.5% less than the previous. Okay, the average hourly wages hasn't been given, but the net change in employment is from minus 68, okay, which means we had 68,000 less people employed, to a consensus of 195 new employees coming into the labor market. So if these figures come out to be true, if it's better than expected and better than the previous, then we're going to be definitely in some good ground for fantastic movement. Okay, now if these two coincide together, so we get a lower unemployment rate and we also get higher employment rate, I believe we're going to see some massive and strong movement on the Canadian dollar. Now, if I just be honest with you, where USD CAD is from a technical standpoint, I'm sure the news is going to follow through and help for USD CAD to continue being bearish. In other words, the Canadian dollar to gain strength. Now we have about 5 minutes left. That's a very simple review of what we're looking for. These two impact pieces of news are the most important thing we need to look at. Okay, and we can review it afterwards to see the shape of the economy when it comes to the Canadian dollar. So I'm going to switch back over to the charts. Let's have a look at what's going on. All right. Now, if I pull up USD CAD, I'm also going to pull up US oil as well and UK oil. Now, I got stopped out of this position, which is annoying. But let's just go through what we have here. Now, the best correlation we could go for at the moment would be a correlation between oil, the oil price, and the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar. Reason being, we know already that the US dollar isn't a commodity currency, it's a consumer currency. Or you should know this if you've listened to me for long enough. And therefore, when the price action is moving, or the factors that move the US dollar are completely different from other currencies that you may find. On the other side, though, when it comes to the Canadian dollar, it is a commodity currency and its major export is oil. So if the oil price is pushing upwards, then we should see a very good inverse correlation with the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar. Okay, now what I would advise, I don't really want to close this. There are two options right now. The price could reverse. Now, the entry really we wanted was right up here, or the second was here. But I would say that watching the price action here, again, like I was saying on the previous live just a moment ago on the Money Mike's channel, that I do want to see the price enter into this area, which we haven't had yet. For me, there are two ways to deal with this price action at the moment. You could either drag your stop losses to even. Now, to be honest, if I took a loss of £1.87, it wouldn't harm me whatsoever on any of the accounts. Now, if you want to conserve some profit, what I would usually do is I put my 1 minute supplies on here. If I see the body of the candle close beneath there and start to push very strongly towards my entry, before 1:30, then I will, be moving my stop loss around to accommodate for that. Now, when I look at the price action here, down to every time frame, even to the 5 minute, let's do some breakdowns here. For me, I'm happy with the price action at the moment. Of course, there's always the potential for the price to spike, but this price action right here is giving me peace of mind. We've had a very strong push for a long from this demand zone formed here, if we ignore the market open. So this is just the market noise from the market opening here. We had a very strong long, and then we had the short happen. So we had a long into Asia. And into the London session, we have a very strong accumulation. We have a break beneath this 5 minute zone and a return here, and a very strong accumulation of orders around this region. Okay, and then we have one pullback short, one return, and then a very strong push of liquidity short. So that gives me peace of mind to know that the price is most likely going to continue short. I'm going to widen my stop loss for a moment here, and I'm going to observe how the price is behaving. Now, there's two ways you can do this. Depending on your broker, you could actually right now drag your stop losses to even. So that's one aspect. You can drag your stop losses to even here like so. If you drag your stop loss to even, if the price was to spike against you for a moment, at least you haven't lost anything at all. It depends on what entry you do have though. If you don't have a high, very strong entry, then probably it wouldn't benefit you to do this. If like my entry right here is a bit of a tricky one, so maybe I put my stop loss to even for the moment. Now, also, one of the things to be aware of is that the spread does widen very strongly for the news. Okay. So if the spread does widen and I have to get in again, what I usually do is I have a trade ready, same lot size, waiting to see if the price is going to, pounce on my stop loss or something like that. Usually in this case, it wouldn't, because USD CAD should be going short. If it does reverse, then we'll just be looking for some way to, capture our movement. Now we have about 20 seconds before the news happens. So let's see what happens here. Now, in the meantime, UK oil should be pushing long at the same time. And as soon as the price breaks above here, I'll be looking to buy UK oil also. Okay. I expect the price to do so, and it just depends on what we have going forward. So if you're never too sure and you just want to conserve some profit, you can always just, as I say, right click here and close. Don't cancel your stop loss though. Okay. So now we have the news out. Let's see what's happening. So we have a slight delay, so we don't have much of a reaction just yet. Okay, the spread has widened quite a bit. Now our broker's quite good. Hugo's way is good. If you want to jump in here, so if, as I said, if the price breaks past this 1 minute zone whilst the news is out, then I would close and just re-enter after that, so that I can conserve some profit. For the moment, the price hasn't really reacted much. Okay, but you still be ready at any time. So I have the close button here. I'm always ready, because sometimes you have to adjust for different conditions. Sometimes the market might not react straight away. Now, I've noticed something in the market. If you are uh you do trade, okay, you'll notice that sometimes the market doesn't actually do the reaction of the news straight away anymore. There's a bit of a delay. So you see right here, we've had like about a minute of delay so far. Okay, the price hasn't really done much. It's kind of edging forward, but it's not really done anything here. Do you see that? Here we go. Here's the reaction, guys. So you can see that the profit is pulling forward. All right, we should be in deeper profit. So you guys see what's happening here. So with the correct technical analysis, you should be making a lot of money from this trade right now. So how are you guys doing on the live? How are you guys making money? Everybody good? Everybody in profit? Should be anyway.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good. All right. So keep on holding. All right. So we'll just keep on holding. Now the price has spiked into this demand zone at the moment here. As I told you, with this one, we wouldn't have to close it. All right. We can just allow this one to continue riding down. All right. This is why I didn't close it. But you can see how strong the short is going to be. As I told you guys, when it comes to technical analysis in Forex anyway, it always leads above fundamentals. What do I mean by that? The order block that's here right now, this specific order block has a lot of institutional money and orders in this area. So the Canadian dollar news being tapped now, the entry for this trade was yesterday. And then today we've had this very strong short that seems to not want to stop and is just riding down, you know. So what I would say in the case like this is that you want to be wise and make sure that you follow technicals instead of the fundamentals. Personally, fundamentals are just the timing of the opportunity for technicals that are already going to happen. I'll say that one more time. So for me, fundamentals are just, or the news that we get, especially speeches and data, are just the timing for when technical movements are going to happen at the best time. That's all I see them as. Why? Because what moves the market is liquidity, supply and demand, as I've taught many times over. And so we should be moving very heavy, you know. Yeah, destination being predetermined. Exactly. That's a good way to put it, Shaz. So this is why we do what we do. So you can see the price action here. We didn't get the close above the 1 minute. As I said, even the 1 minute time frame price action is very specific. So this should be great. You guys should be in some good profit, and this should be riding all the way down. It should not be stopping for a very long time. All right. So this will be great. Everybody's in profit, and I expect this to continue for quite a while. Now, depending on how the market is, I don't really want to actually close this because, to be honest, we're in a swing right now. And what I really hope is that in the next hour, we get a body close beneath this area, because all I'm going to do is probably enter again and get some more positioning from this. All right. But every account that I have right now is in profit and everything is looking good. I know my students are in profit. I gave this trade a long time ago. So you guys should be doing good. All right. Now, if the price decides to reverse a bit, all right, you can always plan a way to get out and get back in again. We can see that there's a little bit of a pullback at the moment, but I'm not being phased by it. Again, the major area I'm looking at is if the price breaks past the 1 minute zone, then we'll make a decision on what to do. Okay. So riding the wave on the way down. Okay. This is really what we want to do. So for those of you on live YouTube and stuff, you guys can see how liquidity is very simple and easy to understand, but price action is very specific too. So if you're, if you're in this trade, well done. For those of you on YouTube, if you followed me and deciphered what I was saying to grab this trade, USD CAD has a long way to go. So we're not closing the year. We're just letting it ride down. Well done if you're in. Students, make sure you post your results, guys, so that I can have a look and see what you lot have done. And yeah, let the wave ride down. Marley's in. Welcome, Marlon. All right, yeah, that's it. Keep it going. Just let the wave ride down. I do think we should hold this possibly over the weekend or look for re-entry. But because this is a swing, I don't really see the necessity not to do so. But the price action is going to get even heavier around about 2 o'clock. You can see the price is still pushing short. Still have quite a bit to do. All right, and yeah, this is a great trade. So let's move on to something else in the meantime for us to get a good picture of what's going on. I'm going to look at CAD Japanese yen. Let's see what happened there. So CAD Japanese yen, we didn't have the strong, you see, if you notice, guys, the length of the body of the candle here on this movement here is hardly anywhere as strong as what we've had on USD CAD, and the reason simply is because of the dynamics of the currencies. You can't always trade USD CAD long and CAD Japanese yen short. Sometimes they both go in the same way, and sometimes the strength is very, very different. The best bet you can go for is to use US oil, okay, or UK oil, because at least you're using the commodity, the crux of what causes the Canadian dollar to be the Canadian dollar strength. Now, that's not the only factor that affects the Canadian dollar. Of course, things like interest rates and stuff like that also do so. But in reality, the main crux of the movement is going to be there. Now, when you watch USD CAD again, if you see that the price reverses past this 1 minute area, all you got to do is close. Now, I know this is nice profit to grab as the price is going down, but of course, the market can be crafty and do things to try to stop you out. So if the price decides to reverse and give us one more chance to go long, then you just close it above this minute area here. So the specific minute area, the limit for me would be at this price point here. So 1.24974. Yeah, 1.24974. But you know, guys, I would say this to you, for those of you who trade the news or you get very emotional and your heart starts to beat before the news, if you notice, I didn't have any reaction whatsoever because I understand the liquidity of the market and where institutions are going to put money, and banks and probably governmental figures too. So if you know that, then you can actually cover yourself a lot better when it comes to your stop losses, especially. All right. So I'm happy with this trade. I'm going to leave it for a bit. I'll set an alarm here again because I'm not going to be silly just to hang on here. But yeah, based on the news, expect the spike and then yeah, exactly that. Now, I expecting probably a little bit of a spike before 2 or at 2 o'clock, and then the price should continue on its way. Now, really, there's a little bit of a gap in price from this movement here. So I, when I look at the price here, none of these candles have actually returned to this M1 supply zone. They've just missed it. So my projection is that most likely the price may spike into here. Okay, fill this tiny little gap that was left from the price feed. Now, this gap here isn't purposeful. There are different types of liquidity gaps, guys. There's purposeful ones, and then there's ones that are literally from the price feed. Here, this is just because the volatility, the volume was very high, but the liquidity was low for a moment. So not every price point got filled here. So we may get a fill right here, and then the price might sell off again. So I won't even close when the price gets here. I'll wait for it to actually go above. If it does, then we close and just get a deeper entry again. But you know what? It was a good trade anyway. We didn't have much of a reaction, though. I was expecting a bigger boom, but it's still nice. The price is going in our direction. Okay, but the key here, remember this, guys, if you're wanting to take this trade, the real crux of the matter is that this 5-minute zone, this is the first demand zone. I mean, this is the first proper demand zone of the new day. This 5-minute demand zone. So for the price to use this to keep the price above for half of the day and then break beneath with an accumulation on the other side, especially this return here. This return here is the most important. Again, this is not a teaching session, so I'm not trying to teach, but this return is probably the most important one that we had here. This movement from here back up here before the short. That's why I took my entry from here, because I knew that the liquidity will pick up quite heavily after this point here. And now the short has occurred. We should be seeing further short going on. So I'm not going to close this. I like this trade a lot. I think it's quite a simple one. The limit of my stop loss, if I be really real, if I wanted to just be aggressive and hold, this would be right here, because this is really the crux of the matter. This movement here on the 5 minutes. So again, we'll watch out and see, and then we can observe from here. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. This was a short clip. We'll just hold on to this trade because it's a Friday. I'm not really going to try to force the trade anything. We've already got USD CAD. I have positions on more than one account on there. I think that's really good enough. Again, you can see the price is kind of making its way back up, and you may see this with news. One of the things that news does, sometimes news also provides re-entries and entries for certain things. So again, 1, 2, 3, the price didn't enter into this area. So on this fourth here, I'm hoping once the price fills this gap here and gets back into here, then it should continue to go short. If it breaks above, guys, then you know what to do. Just allow the price to have a chance to push back for another reversal, then you can get in again, which I guess for some of you watching this may be good for you because you can jump in now. If not, then the price will come back at another time. But USD CAD to me is a very beautiful swing short, and I don't want us to miss it, and just keep on riding this wave down. Okay, no matter what I say though, make sure you risk manage. Make sure that your risk management is good, okay, and is sound, okay, so that you don't go and make the mistakes that I've made, which is blowing accounts for no reason. You don't want to do that. You just want to keep things nice and tidy. Okay. Now, sometimes with price feeds, you can see there might be a bit of delay because of your laptop too. Because when I'm looking at the price action feed on my other laptop right here, which has a higher RAM, by the way, this movement here does not exist. So sometimes the broker's interpretation of price or how the price feed comes to you may affect your trading as well. So this is another thing, because on my other laptop right now, I wish I could switch the screen from one to the other. The supply zone right here that's formed, and there's no gap between here. All right, so it's cool anyway. I'm again, this is the limit. If the price gets above here, I'm going to take my profit, wait for another entry again. Maybe the price may push even higher up and give us another chance. I would say my limit would be up to where these highs are right here for another entry. Then I'll sell it again. Okay, if it continues from where it is, then we're doing good. All right, but I hope you guys really enjoyed that, your YouTube family. Okay, I'll catch you guys later on.